What happens when a CEO goes undercover to see how his own company operates? What happens when he steps into the shoes of an ordinary customer, only to discover the cracks in the system he thought was perfect? This is the story of a man who wanted to see the truth for himself, and what he found changed everything. The CEO of one of the largest banks in the country, a man named Elliot Carter, had always prided himself on running a tight ship. His bank, Unity Trust, was known for its customer service and integrity, or so he thought. Elliot was a man of principles, someone who believed in fairness and transparency. But lately, whispers had reached his ears, rumors of corruption, negligence, and poor service. At first, he dismissed them as baseless complaints. But the more he thought about it, the more he wondered, was there truth to these rumors? One morning, Elliot made a decision. He would go undercover. He would visit his own bank, not as a CEO, but as an ordinary customer. He wanted to see firsthand how his employees treated people when they thought no one was watching. He wanted to know if the values he had instilled in the company were being upheld or ignored. Elliot spent days preparing for his undercover mission. He grew out his beard, wore casual clothes, and even practiced speaking in a different tone. He didn't want anyone to recognize him. He wanted to be invisible. He wanted to see the truth. The day finally came. Elliot walked into a branch of Unity Trust, located in a busy part of the city. The branch was bustling with activity. Customers lined up at the counters, and employees moved about with purpose. Elliot took a deep breath and approached the reception desk. A young woman named Lila greeted him with a polite smile. "Good morning, sir. How can I help you today?" she asked. Elliot smiled back. "Good morning. I'd like to open a new account, please." Lila handed him a form and directed him to a waiting area. Elliot filled out the form, but instead of using his real name, he wrote a fake one, Daniel Harris. He also provided a fake address and phone number. He wanted to test the system. Would the bank verify his information, or would they let him open an account without proper checks? After a short wait, Elliot was called to a desk where a bank employee named Mark was waiting. Mark was in his late 30s, with a friendly demeanor. He reviewed Elliot's form and began the process of opening the account. "Everything looks good, Mr. Harris," Mark said. "We'll just need a copy of your ID and proof of address." Elliot handed over a fake ID he had prepared. It was a convincing replica, but it wasn't real. Mark glanced at it briefly, then nodded. "Perfect. We'll get this process for you," Mark said. Elliot raised an eyebrow. "That's it? No further checks?" Mark smiled. "We trust our customers, Mr. Harris. Unless something seems suspicious, we don't need to dig deeper." Elliot's heart sank. This was exactly what he had feared. The bank wasn't following proper procedures. They were cutting corners. But he kept his composure and thanked Mark. A few days later, Elliot returned to the branch, this time to withdraw money from his fake account. He approached the cashier, a young man named Jake, who seemed distracted and uninterested. "I'd like to withdraw $500 from my account," Elliot said, handing over his fake ID and account details. Jake glanced at the documents, then frowned. "I'm sorry, sir, but your account has been flagged. You'll need to wait 7 days before you can make any withdrawals." Elliot was taken aback. "Flagged? Why? I just opened this account a few days ago." Jake shrugged. "I don't know, sir. The system says it's flagged. You'll have to wait." Elliot felt a surge of frustration. "Can you at least tell me why it's flagged? Or who I can speak to about this?" Jake sighed, clearly annoyed. "Look, sir, I'm just following the rules. If you have a problem, you can file a complaint. But there's nothing I can do." Elliot's frustration turned to anger. This was his bank, his employees, and they were treating a customer, him, with such disrespect. He took a deep breath, trying to stay calm. "Can I speak to the manager, please?" he asked. Jake rolled his eyes. "Sure, but he's busy. You'll have to wait." Elliot waited for nearly 20 minutes before the manager, a man named Victor, finally appeared. Victor was in his 50s, with a stern expression. He looked at Elliot with barely concealed impatience. "What seems to be the problem, sir?" Victor asked. Elliot explained the situation, but Victor didn't seem interested. "I'm sorry, sir, but if your account is flagged, there's nothing we can do. You'll have to wait 7 days. Elliot's patience was wearing thin. This is unacceptable. I'm a customer of this bank, and I deserve better service than this. Victor's expression hardened. Sir, if you're not happy, you're free to take your business elsewhere. But we can't make exceptions for everyone. Elliot couldn't believe what he was hearing. This was his bank, his employees, and they were treating him, a customer, like an inconvenience. He felt a mix of anger and disappointment. But he also knew this was his chance to see the truth. Thank you for your time, Elliot said, his voice cold. He turned and walked out of the branch, his mind racing. The next day, Elliot returned to the branch, but this time he wasn't in disguise. He walked in wearing a sharp suit, his CEO badge clearly visible. The employees froze when they saw him. Lila, Mark, Jake, and Victor all stared in shock. Elliot walked straight to Victor's office. Close the door, he said, his voice firm. Victor obeyed, his face pale. Mr. Carter? I had no idea. Elliot cut him off. You had no idea what? That I was testing you? That I wanted to see how you treat your customers? Or that you've been allowing fake accounts to be open under your watch? Victor's mouth opened, but no words came out. Elliot continued. I trusted you to uphold the values of this bank. But what I saw yesterday was a disgrace. You allowed a fake account to be opened. You ignored a customer's concerns. And you treated him with disrespect. Is this how you run this branch? Victor hung his head in shame. I'm sorry, Mr. Carter. I didn't realize. Elliot's voice softened, but his tone remained firm. This isn't just about you, Victor. It's about the entire system. If we don't hold ourselves to the highest standards, we lose the trust of our customers. And without trust, we have nothing. Elliot spent the next few weeks implementing strict new rules at Unity Trust. He introduced mandatory training for all employees, emphasizing the importance of integrity and customer service. He also set up a system to verify every new account, ensuring that no fake accounts could be opened. The changes weren't easy, and there was resistance at first. But over time, the employees began to understand the importance of what Elliot was trying to do. They realized that their actions had consequences, and that they had a responsibility to their customers. As for Victor, he was given a second chance. Elliot believed in redemption, and he wanted to give Victor the opportunity to prove himself. Victor took the opportunity seriously, working hard to improve the branch and regain Elliot's trust. The story of Elliot's undercover mission spread throughout the bank, inspiring employees to do better. It became a reminder that no matter how high you climb, you should never lose sight of the people you serve. And so, Unity Trust became stronger than ever, not just as a bank, but as a symbol of integrity and trust. Elliot's journey had taught him an important lesson, that true leadership isn't about power or control. It's about responsibility, humility, and the courage to face the truth. The moral of the story? A leader's greatest strength lies in their ability to listen, learn, and lead by example. Because when you care about the people you serve, you create something that lasts. Before we wrap up, I want to take a moment to thank you for joining us on this emotional journey. Stories like these remind us of the power of kindness, courage, and standing up for what's right. If this story touched your heart, made you think, or inspired you in any way, let us know in the comments below. Tell us where you're watching from. And don't forget to share this story with others. Sometimes, a simple act of sharing can make a huge impact. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and join our community. We've got more heartfelt stories coming your way. Until next time, remember, kindness changes lives. See you soon.